So when I first heard of Rivian as a brand, I actually remember the day vividly. I was with my cousin at the 2019 New York Auto Show, and I never even heard of the brand before, but then when I went over to their display and saw their models lined up, I immediately got excited because although I don't really like EVs that much, I was drawn to the design of their models, and also they are a newer domestic EV manufacturer. And at that time, Tesla really didn't have much competition in that market. So when I saw this new, basically news article, I was amazed and also excited as to see what can actually happen in the future. So now just reading the headline, essentially a new Rivian R1T broke a Pikes Peak record. And also, the thing that caught my attention the most is 1,025 horsepower. I never heard of the Rivian R1T making that much power until I actually went ahead and looked at this car and driver kind of review that they had. And it turns out that they made a new quad motor trim that makes 1,025 horsepower and almost 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. And then upon scrolling down in the Motor Trend article and seeing the link to the onboard footage of this record-setting lap time at Pikes Peak, I was completely blown away. This is something that is so cool, and it's honestly amazing that production vehicles can basically make these numbers and put out these performance lap times nowadays. And as someone who loves the design of the Rivians compared to like your other brands like Tesla and Lucid, I honestly thought it was really damn cool. I personally would love to see Rivian see more success in the future or in the near future, but it's awesome that as a brand, you know, basically this onboard footage was posted by their official YouTube page. So they understand a little bit more, I think, of, you know, where Lucid and Tesla are coming from, because Lucid and Tesla, I think that the brands mainly focus around just luxury and comfort, and yes, performance as well, but they don't really care that much about enthusiasts, whereas I think that Rivian has a bit of a better understanding of the significance and history behind Pikes Peak. And if you don't know, the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb event is essentially something that dates all the way back to 1916, and it has played a crucial role in a lot of newer vehicles or vehicles that are being released, at least in, you know, like the production car classes. It has played a pivotal role in, you know, marketing and basically getting their names out there. And I definitely think that Rivian is a brand that is kind of going very unnoticed. I mean, just like probably about a week or two ago, I actually posted this poll and I said, what do you guys think is the coolest or best domestic all-electric manufacturer? And between the three, Tesla basically had a giant margin on both Lucid and Rivian, with Rivian coming a little bit closer in second place than Lucid. But I definitely do think that if more people kind of knew about Rivian, they would like it a lot more, or basically just as much as I do. Now, looking at essentially this Rivian R1T overview, going up, this is new. I think this quad motor trim is going to be new for the 2025 model. And here is the different pricing for like the different trims for the R1T. Yes, they are all ridiculous and not affordable at all. But going down, and again looking at the performance numbers for the different motor options that you have, there's at the base, which is just standard, is the dual motor option, and it comes with 553 horsepower and 610 foot-pounds of torque. And then you have the performance dual motor that bumps it up a little bit over 660 horsepower and 829 foot-pounds of torque. A tri-motor as well, which is at 850 horsepower and basically like 1,100 foot-pounds of torque, which is still ridiculous. And then the quad motor, which is over 1,000 horsepower and again just under 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. I don't know what it is about 1,000 horsepower. I don't know if everyone just loves that number, but I feel like that's the standard nowadays with a lot of your like top of the line performance trims for new EVs. And honestly, I'm not complaining. Again, I'm someone in the past that hasn't really taken a liking that much to electric electric vehicles, I still think that they can't compare to the joy of driving an internal combustion engine powered vehicle. And I also really hate concepts like the new all-electric Daytona Charger that Dodge is going to be basically swapping out the regular Charger for, because I don't know, for me, like, pumping an exhaust note through an EV is probably about as phony as you can get. But that's just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments below if you have a differing opinion and you just love the fact that these new EVs are pumping out insane performance numbers and you don't really care about the overall joy, or I guess feeling, of driving them. Because honestly, as someone who does do car reviews on YouTube, whenever I've driven EVs in the past, to me it's very, very hard to differentiate between different brands and different models, mainly because they all drive essentially like they're electric go-karts. They all act the same. You know, you put your foot down on the pedal, let's say 20%, and it gives you 20% of its power instantaneously. And if you floor it, it gives you 100% of its power instantaneously. And it is a very, very cool thing to experience. If you haven't driven a full electric vehicle, I suggest you do, just for your own knowledge and experience of how they work. And it's cool, like, for about like the first 10 minutes. And then after a while, it kind of gets boring and they all kind of feel the same. Now, yes, I haven't driven a Tesla Plaid or one of these quad motor Rivian R1Ts on the channel yet. So I would love to eventually get my hands on one of them and see how that much power with essentially no sound feels like. It's got to be trippy as hell. But overall, as someone who kind of is a fan of the Rivian brand, I do have to say I was very happy when I read this article, and I kind of felt like I had to share it with you guys because I really feel like Rivian doesn't get the publicity that they deserve with their different models. But let me know what you guys think, again, down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you made it this far in the video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As a smaller car channel, it really, really does help me out a ton.